Howdy, folks. Which Walls from NeedCoffee.com here. Back again for another Wayhomer review. Here's how it works for the uninitiated. I have just left the cinema. Hang on. Let me adjust the air. We're in Atlanta. It's already very warm. So, anyway, I just left the cinema. It's behind you over there. I have seen a film, and I'm going to tell you about that film on my way home, because it's just quicker that way and more efficient. And today we are here to talk about Wrath of the Titans. Now, before we get started, let me just explain, because some of you might be asking yourselves, Widge, nearly 100 Wayhomers ago, I did look that up. I hardly ever do any research on this, but I wanted to be able to say that, yes, it was almost 100 Wayhomers ago that I did Clash of the Titans 3D. And I gave it 1 cup out of 5. And you might be wondering, Widge, see, since you enjoyed the first one so much, why are you back for the second one? You could have gone to see Mirror Mirror. And you have to understand that between the two, it basically came down to, A, Mirror Mirror is obviously designed to appeal to 6-year-olds. And I understand that some might say that I have the maturity of a 6-year-old, but the film just has no appeal for me. And so, between that and a film that's supposed to have, you know, giant creatures and explosions, and actually gives money to Ray Fiennes and Liam Neeson, I mean, between the two, you gotta go with Neeson and Fiennes. I mean, come on. So, don't get me wrong, I am not, I will go see films that aren't directly targeted at me, but I thought, at least with this one, there might be a sliver of a chance of something cool happening. So, synopsis. Synopsis is this. Time has passed since the first Clash of the Titans film. Time and almost $500 million of box office worldwide. But anyway, so Sam Worthington is back. Io is not. He's lost his wife, but he's got his kid, and he had sworn to raise his kid like a normal human, because that's what you do when you're a demigod. However, the problem is that pesky agnosticism and atheism is spreading through the land. And just like in the game Populous, if the gods don't get prayed to, they don't have power. And if the gods don't have power, because, I mean, well, the old question about can God, in this case, you know, the Judeo-Christian God, make a rock so big and heavy that he himself can't move it? Well, apparently, with the Olympian gods, their stuff was only good so long as they had power, and they have power from being prayed to, which is interesting because you'd think if everything that they do was going to be undone if you stopped praying to them. First of all, that seems like some kind of theological blackmail. Well, you know, it's a great world. I hate for something to happen to it. You better keep praying to us. It is. It's extortion. It's really, it's divine protectionism at work. Really. It's a racket. Anyway, but you'd think that, okay, and I don't want to be, like, rude, and I'm going completely off topic here, but that's what I do, because I have a brain like a hummingbird. But, I mean, if everything that the gods did is undone, right? And I don't mean to sound crude, but I mean, Perseus is basically the result of heavenly sperm, right? So why doesn't that get undone? Why doesn't Perseus either become normal, right, and look like what's-his-face from Revenge of the Nerds, which would have been interesting, or why doesn't he just cease to exist? That would have been even more interesting. Anyway, that's not how apparently the universe works. Who am I to question Liam Neeson with a beard? So, but yes, it's being undone. It's come undone. No, it's being undone. Everything's being undone. And as a result of things being undone, the Titans themselves, you know, the Titans, who really didn't put in that much of an appearance in the actual Clash of the Titans. The Titans, Kronos, father of the gods and all that stuff, is going to get out. He's going to get a get out of jail free card and wreak havoc on everything. And apparently destroy everything. I'm not sure why, because, I mean, unless it's the ultimate nihilistic. I mean, he does. I will say this. I mean, you've seen him in the trailer, so I'm not really giving anything away when I say that the other name for Kronos is I can't believe it's not Sauron, basically. So anyway, so that's what's happening, is they're going to be set free, and of course Hades is involved, and other members of the Olympian family and all that stuff, and hijinks ensue, because it's up to Perseus to step up and grow a pair and decide to save the universe from those pesky gods who are at it again. Those wacky gods, they're at it again. Alright, so anyway, first of all, apparently, if you're a god, that means you look like a cross between Moses and Gandalf, okay? Because honestly, everyone, it's just, there's beardness going on, right? Crazy beardness, including a nice turn by Bill Nye as Hephaestus, who really does look like, last place in a Da Vinci lookalike contest, basically. I love Bill Nye. He brings a little bit of spark and life to the film, which we'll talk about more in a second. But the good things about the film, I mean, Sam Worthington, cast-wise, Sam Worthington, he's just sort of there. He's one of these people that I like okay. I mean, I liked him in Avatar. I liked him in... he was fine in Clash of the Titans. He's just sort of there. You know what I mean? It's not like... He seems like anybody could have brought something to the role. Although he has hair this time, which is a nice change. But I mean, the real fun you have going on is with the gods. Like specifically, Ralph Fiennes, even though he is slumming, and even though this is hopefully, writing him a check so that he can do more stuff like Coriolanus, right? That and his Harry Potter money. But anyway, he's... So he is effortlessly doing his thing. Liam Neeson is being Liam Neeson, Zeus, Aslan, whatever. And so that's there. And of course, like I said, Bill Nye. So you've got some good things going on from a cast perspective. But I think what I found a little disappointing was, I like to come, well, two things. I like to come to a film without a lot in the expectation department, especially for something like this, where I've seen the first one. The first one was pretty crap. And I think, okay, well, I know that it's sprung forth, fully formed from the head of crap. So I'm not expecting a lot, right? So I try to get my expectations aligned and come in as much of a blank slate as I can. However, any expectations that the film itself brings to its own table while the film is going on, those are fair game. For example, it seemed like they had a really cool idea going on in that, okay, the gods are weakening and disappearing and crumbling into dust, okay? Oh, Danny Houston, by the way, another interesting cameo. Not my favorite Danny Houston role, but he, again, is very Moses-esque, whatever. But anyway, what was I saying? Oh yes, so the gods are weakening, the Titans are waking up, and there's some line about, well, you need to go find another demigod. And there is one, okay? I won't go into that because he was amusing, and I've seen him somewhere before, I don't know where. But I had this it seemed like they had this great idea of, we know that from the legends and from the mythos that the gods just littered the planet with demigods, right? I mean, because they really couldn't keep it in their pants. So this idea of, well, let's raise an army of demigods. There must be lots of us running around, right? We seem to, if you had some way of recognizing each other besides the fact that you can hold the mighty trident or whatever, I don't know. But that seemed like that would have been cool, is instead of spending all your time running around in a maze and stuff like that, doing a fist fight with a minotaur, which for some reason that struck me as hilarious. For a sword and sandals type movie, there's a lot of just brawling going on. It's just like you're wrestling a god, dude. You are wrestling. Those are wrestling moves. What the hell? Anyway, it's just funny. So, but anyway, rather than running around doing all this stuff, go raise yourself an army of demigods. And in fact, that would have been a better idea, because I don't know about you, but if I'm facing down an army of hideous creatures that has been kept in the fiery pits of Tartarus, hell, right? Fiery hell, lava, hell. I'm going to have a better strategy than set them on fire. Because they've come from fire. And you're going to set them on fire. I mean, this all looks cool and everything, and I appreciate your enthusiasm, but what are you... Did no one think about this at all? Anyway, I mean, it's not like they had a great amount of weapon technology. I understand that, but and I understand that basically you're facing down eternal, hideous creatures and gods and proto-gods and whatever else, and you're grasping at straws. But I mean, somebody... I don't know. It's just funny. So anyway, what was I going to say? Oh, so that was the first thing. Was it seemed like they had this kernel of a really interesting idea that could have made for, oh well, let's get the, oh cool, look at Puppy. Hey, what's up? I don't even know if you could see that on the camera. I may have just seemed like I was hallucinating a dog. Anyway, so anyway, it seemed like they had this kernel of an idea that I was like, hey, if they're running in this direction, then this might actually be fun, because I'm not getting very engaged about things. They do have enough sense to, like, just give you 5 minutes of setup and then stuff starts blowing up, to their credit, okay? But I didn't feel very engaged in what was going on. Especially when it became abundantly clear that all the neat creature designs that I was seeing in the trailer, there weren't going to be a lot of those happening, okay? Anyway, the other thing is, as I have said before, on this camera, I'm a sucker for fantasy films, okay? I really like Legend. Hell, I even liked Willow. I mean, I am easy when it comes to fantasy films. But part of the thing about those types of films, and indeed even the original cheeseball Clash of the Titans, and I believe I had the same criticism about the remake, this first film, was there was some fun involved. It felt fun. It didn't feel like they were taking it too seriously. And as a result, you felt like you could have fun with them too. Now, Bill Nye came to the table understanding what was going on, even though they did do an unnecessary callback to the original film, which they've already done. But Bill Nye had that kind of goofy kind of sensibility, the good kind of fun kind of goofy that you need in a film like this. And you had the other demigod person who had a little bit of that going on. But they were just islands of fun in a film that still is taking itself way too seriously. And as a result, I mean, if a film like this, which is just big and loud and noisy, takes itself too seriously, then it's like, well, it wants me to take it seriously, and how could I possibly take it seriously? So that, I mean, that's part of why I simply couldn't get engaged, is that it just still had that kind of going on to it, and not a lot of fun happening. Even though it has all the same structure, it's trying to put across the same setup and the same quest mentality and the same, we have to go here and we have to get this thing and we have to do this. But it still takes itself too seriously. So, I mean, so here's the thing. Oh, and by the way, you'll notice that I haven't mentioned the 3D yet, because screw the 3D. Unless for some reason your idea of an awesome 3D film is that every once in a while a spear will stick out towards your face, right? Or you want lava bits to be floating in the air in front of you. If that's your idea of awesome 3D, then rock on with your bad self. But that's about all this brought to the table 3D-wise. So save your money if you're going. Now, I don't think, personally, you should go. So let's get down to the nitty-gritty of it. I am going to say, cup-wise, I am going to be merciful. Since forgiveness is a theme of the film, I will show some forgiveness. Because, you know, A, it tried a little bit harder than the first film. It had better creature designs. I mean, Harryhausen wept, right? It had some really awesome creature setup, but woefully underutilized. And it, I don't know, it tried, but it's still not there. So anyway, so I'm going to give, for that and the guy who played Agincourt, I keep wanting to say Agincourt, even though it's Aginor or whatever. But every time they said that, I thought Agincourt, which is, you know, some French place. Anyway, so between that and Bill Nighy and the creatures, I am willing to give it an extra half a cup and give it a cup and a half. Okay? Now, as far as should you see it, no, I mean, because there's not enough there of anything. There's not enough of a story to hang your hat on. There's not enough of the creatures in there to make it worth going to, even if you wanted to see those. There's not a lot of sword-induced carnage. There's a lot of punching, a hilarious amount of punching. There's a lot of predictability. There's a lot of stuff that doesn't make any sense. So there's it just seems to want to try to go in all these other directions to fill in what just should have been, you know, a slightly fun, slightly goofy quest type of sword and sandals sorcery fantasy movie. And that doesn't quite get there. It's no Krull, let's put it that way. So anyway, I would say, wait for it. If this is the sort of film you want to see, and don't get me wrong, grab this on Netflix when it comes out, see it on a decent rig at home, you'll be fine, you'll be happy you did. There are a few snippets of things worth catching, but worth paying for this weekend? No. I mean, I would say go, you know, if you haven't seen it, go see The Hunger Games instead, or just stay home and watch something that you've got on your shelf that you paid for and you haven't watched yet. We've all got those. Take a weekend off. It's better than going and weeping in a Tarzan film. So there you go. I mean, I can't really recommend it for pretty much anybody. And I would stay away. Even though it did do better than Clash of the Titans, maybe by the time we get to the fourth film, they'll have figured out what they're doing and be reasonable. I don't know. About what I expected, even though I tried to lay my expectations aside, but it is in line with the Titans franchise that it is now. So there you go. So anyway, thanks to everybody for watching. Again, it's almost been 100 since I did the original Clash of the Titans. That was number 14. I did look that up. So thanks to everybody for watching. Thanks to everyone who shares these things. And as always, if you enjoy this stuff, one of the ways you can help us that is so simple is save this URL, needcoffee.com/Amazon. If you use that instead of going to Amazon.com, whatever you purchased, that you were going to purchase anyway during that session, we get kickbacks for. And don't worry if it's just whether it's a 99-cent MP3 or a $99 something or whatever. It all counts and it all adds up and it all helps us pay for things like the inevitable repairs that I'm going to need to do soon on my lovely vehicle. So, thanks for watching everyone, and we will see you next time. Bye. I do have to admit that in retrospect, boxing the Minotaur sounds like a euphemism for masturbation. I mean, doesn't it?